Chairman, and this is a little bit of a bittersweet introduction for me because the person I'm going to be introducing is one of the best and nicest and most professional people that I have worked with in the years that I've been associated with the city of Henderson. And that's our District 2 Chief Engineer, Kevin McClearn. And Kevin has been with the Transportation Cabinet and the District 2 office since 2009. And he has about 350 total employees down there, includes management, maintenance folks, and all of that. 3,300 miles of roadway, 2,000 bridges in 11 counties. And so, you know, a lot to oversee, a lot to do, and he has been tremendous to work with, I know, for all of our cities and counties, and we really appreciate him. He served as a mining engineer before he came to the highway department. He currently resides in Mattisville with his wife, has a married UK graduate daughter, and has a son that's a sophomore at Western Kentucky University. And you have probably seen now or read now that Kevin is going to be retiring at the end of May, and we are really going to miss him. Now, you know, things will go on, things will move on, and we'll be fine, but I tell you, I'm going to miss Kevin in that position. He's just a tremendous person to be around and a tremendous person to work with. So I'm glad that he's here today to talk to us a few minutes before he moves on to bigger and better things. So Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Austin. I appreciate it, and I will miss really everybody in this room. That's one of the things that I enjoy with my current job is interaction with you all, decision makers, so that we can keep you updated and be accessible as a highway department and provide information so that really the very ideas for projects have to come from somewhere. And so sometimes when they get into a design room and you've got a lot of engineers looking at it, you kind of lose some of the real focus on the design. So that's why it's so important to include the decision makers, the legislators, the judges, the mayors, the chambers of commerces, etc., economic development, on what was the real project. So that's been a goal of ours since I've been chief. It's just to communicate. So that is fun. That part of it's been fun. So I've enjoyed it, and I will miss this group for sure. And all 7 of the GRADD counties are our counties, so we've worked in every county quite often in the GRADD district. With me today is John Rudd, is one of my branch managers of project development. He plays a key role in every project that I'm going to talk about today. Not some, but every one of them. So as I move on, John will be somebody that you if you have a question, you may get with John, and he's certainly accessible and willing to answer and help you with anything that you have on your projects. John, so there you go, set you up. And then with John is Nick Hall, my buddy that's been with me really just about the whole time with the highway department. Because when I came on board, which was in '93, Nick worked here. So Nick and I found ourselves at several planning meetings before he came over to join the cabinet, which was in '98. So he's been with us since 1998. So I've enjoyed working with Nick on all the planning duties that I've been involved in as well. So thanks to both of those gentlemen for what they do for District 2 and for me. It's been a joy for me to work with them and all of the others. What I thought I would do today, we have the legislators. Actually, you see a lot of them in the room today. Their session is over, so this was the budget year. Part of the budget is the highway plan. So I just brought the final highway plan. This hasn't been printed and publicized yet, but it's about to be out there a little bit later this month, I believe. And just hit some of the larger projects. I don't have time to go through every project, but just give you a quick update on some of the bigger things that are going on, hopefully, in all 7 of your counties. And it is unusual to see all the judges in one setting, so great to see all of you all, and I appreciate working with you all as well. Barring that, I'll just jump right in and run through those Actually, before I start, I did want to say, too, that we're running low on money. Have you heard that before? We have two pots of money, as you know, federal and state monies that drive projects. So we have federal projects, we have state projects. The state funds is related to the gas tax. The gas tax has gone down because the wholesale price of gasoline has gone way down. We know that over the last year and a half plus. So when it goes down, the tax, which is indexed, goes down. So since 2014, it's gone down about 6.5 cents, and currently sits 6.5 cents lower than what it did. Each cent is several $1 million worth of taxes that go to us to build your projects. So for that reason, not alone, but that's one of the major reasons that the legislators did react and set a floor, because it would have gone lower. If they hadn't reacted, we'd have been in worse shape. So for our state-funded projects that we'll be talking about here, it could be that you've gotten an update from me or John or someone else in the past that said this certain year, it's unlikely that we'll make that because those state-funded projects are going to get pushed. They're going to have to be pushed. So I'll explain a little bit more about that, but you'll see the results of that as I run through some of these projects. The first one that I'll go over is on US 60 here in Davis County. I'll hit Davis first. That's on the west side of Owensboro, between what we call Oakford Road and Oakford Road, where it floods, right? It floods, may not flood in a certain year, and then the next year it may flood 3 times. So that's about the rate of flooding that you get out there. And we've got Kimberly-Clark out to the west that severely impacts their operation. So we do have a project to raise the lowest portion of 60 west of Owensboro. In the lowest section in that a little bit, it's not right between Oakford Road and Oakford Road, but it's right in the lowest section of that. There's a bridge just located just to the west. We won't be affecting the bridge. We'll be bringing the road up east of the bridge up to about the bridge level. The lowest point is about 4 to 4.5 feet. Will be coming up. So I'm not going to say it'll never flood, but that 1 to 3 times a year is going to be severely reduced. It is a state-funded project, so that's the problem. We're finishing up design, and we will not be able to move into right-of-way funding right-of-way just yet because we would be unable to get right-of-way funds. So that one and others will be funding dependent. It is a project, it's a good project. We'll be finishing design really soon. A larger project, upgrade the natural parkway to interstate standards, did make it into the new highway plan. I think as everybody in here knows, what the area, what you all are looking for is to upgrade the natural so that it can have interstate shields and we can sign it with some sort of a number. A 65, I-65 spur or something like that. In the 6-year plan, it references I-565 spur, so it put 565 with it. It's my opinion that we don't have a guarantee that we'll keep the 565 or that will be called 565. So I would just refer to it as a future spur. So there's several things with Parkway. Parkway is not an interstate. I think everybody pretty much knows that there's certain things you have to do because that's what we did to the West Kentucky Parkway and the Pennyrock Parkway recently over the last 4 or 5 years to bring it up to interstate standards to be able to call it I-69. So that would be millions of dollars. What we've got in here is $10 million in 2018, $11 million in 2020. A study has been done, so some of these improvements are encapsulated and estimated. There may have to be another study before we get into this, but the same thing that we did on the other parkways, we've already set we already have the recipe. We'll just apply it over here, or the highway department will apply it over there. And a few years down the road, the hope will be to get it to interstate standards. Obviously, one of the projects will come out of that that you would know is we had a toll booth at Hartford, right, 69. So that will that's a clover leaf. That'll have to go to a standard diamond. So we'll have to do that on about 5 interchanges for I-69. We'll have to do it there. There'll be other interchange work. There'll be underpasses that don't have the proper clearance that you'll have to dig out or replace the bridge. Some taper areas for interchanges, and various other things that will have to be upgraded. We have to get into an agreement with the feds. We'll have to list it. They'll have to approve it. Then we'll go to work and get it done. Again, it's in there for 18 and 20. And those are NH dollars, which is federal, so it doesn't really fall prey to a state woes of funding. It can be separate, and I do believe that the governor is aware and likes this project. 54 in Owensboro is one of our largest projects that we've got in development right now. John, we are ending the design phase, correct? And so what happens after design is right away. So what we do is John will ask for authorization. He will not be able to ask for authorization. So we're going to finish the design of the project, and then we're going to have to wait until funding can catch up. Then we will ask for authorization to move that project into right-of-way. There's over 250 parcels. When we finally get right-of-way for it, you're looking at possibly 2 years to buy 250 parcels. When you get that done, you've got a lot of utilities out there, so another 1 to 2 years after that. We're looking at years down the road before 54 is built, unfortunately. Right now, we can't predict that because we're not able to move once we get finished with design. John, have I said anything incorrect there? So what John plans on doing is when we get to the point where he knows he's going to get right-of-way funding, that may be late this year and it may be next year, he will have a right-of-way public meeting, and it'll be advertised so that all the interested parties will be able to come out and take a look at it. We've already had other public meetings. We've met with the judge and mayor and talked about different things, shared use path. We made some tweaks to some of that to better fit into the area and meet the needs. So we have made those changes and communicated with Judge Mangley on that. But that project is going well. It'll be 7 lanes from the bypass out to Ralph Avenue. It'll be 5 lanes out to Water Wheel, which it is pretty much now. From Water Wheel on out to Countryside, it'll be 3 lanes. And then from Countryside out to Jack Hinton, it'll just be a Super 2. It'll have shared use path on the north side of the road for a portion of that length. Another thing that I would tell this audience is we've been working with Matt Hayden in his development because he's got mega things going on. We're aware of that. We're aware of where the entrance will be. We're working with him. He's going to build a 5-lane that'll essentially connect one interchange to the next on his property. So you'll have the bypass extension here, his connector just to the south. So we're going to be planning and working together to get the appropriate turn lanes in, turn lanes out. So the communication is what's key there, so that someday when it's all built out, it'll be the best that it can be. The roundabout made the paper a couple of weeks ago with the press release. We just basically said that I wanted to get word out that it's working in at least one sense of the word. The roundabout I'm talking about is the only one in District 2. You know, it's just west of here. In the 3 years before it became a roundabout, we had 26 crashes with 10 injuries. In the 30 months since it's been opened, we've had 15 crashes and 0 injuries. So the point that I would make is the 15 crashes we've had in 30 months is nothing really to brag about. The brag about would be 0 injuries. So the 3 years before it opened was 10 injury accidents. The 30 months after it opened, 0 injury accidents. And that's what we know comes with the roundabout. It's more the side swipes. It's not the T-bones and that sort of accident. And of course, there's going to be a learning curve when we opened it. And we knew that some of those accidents would happen. And I heard stories from some of you all and what you've seen out there. And perhaps there were more than even is reported. But we do have a project on the way. I think, we believe, the Highway Department, that is going to improve that intersection. And what it is, and thanks to the legislators for getting that project in there, and of course it came up through the Owensboro NPO, and it was the #1 ranked project. It made it on the highway plan. That's to take 4 lanes from the roundabout east to the bypass. So that's 4 lanes from the roundabout east to the bypass. So when you're coming from the south on 81, now you have to get along with who's coming out of the roundabout. Sometimes people don't want to get along. If you're coming out of the roundabout, you're supposed to merge I can understand where you have an issue with that. It's not the perfect design. So the fix is on the way. It is a state-funded project, so we've got $3 million slated for 2017. I don't know John will get to it in 2017. John is about finished with design, which is a good thing, and then when we can get money for authorization, we'll buy. There'll just be a few parcels. Actually, we're on right-of-way right now. Okay, sorry, John. We're moving on right-of-way right now, so we're finished with design. Then we'll hopefully move utilities, but the utilities might be what's delayed on that project. But we will move that one as soon as we can. Moving over to Hancock County, and Judge and I have been talking about this project my entire year, 7 years as chief district engineer. In the beginning, it was the Judicial Center and our project, both being planned. And, well, now they're working in the Judicial Center, right?
Happy 5 years.
Okay, yeah. So, we designed it, it's in right-of-way, we're largely finished with the right-of-way, and now the funding issues are hitting it. I'm not sure, I can't make a prediction. We'll move it, Judge, as fast as, John will move it as fast as he can. I can't predict when we'll let it. Funding has to get better for this state-funded project to move. But also, on better news, Judge, is the painting of that bridge. So that one is moving. It is an NDOT-led project. We had to get a project into the highway plan and get it approved and get it done, so that has happened. That came out of the highway plan. So what's going on there now is the impact that you see when you're driving through is maintenance and repairs. It's not tied to the painting. So that's going to happen first. It's happening now. It's one lane of traffic. We went through some growing pains at the beginning, but hopefully that's worked out a lot better now. So they should be through in August. This project for painting was let this month. They got 6 bids, it was let this month. It hasn't been awarded yet, but the plan is for it to be under construction from July for painting, July through December, break through the cold months, come back in March, and finish in about November of 2017. You should have a painted bridge. Again, it's NDOT led, it'll be NDOT inspected, but they do communicate with us, and we partner with them on inspections and that sort of thing. So that's good news for the painting of the Bob Cummings Bridge over the Ohio River. Okay, moving on to Henderson County. We've got US 60 that we've dealt with for 20 years from Henderson to Morganfield, but we were able to break out a section with Senator Ridley's help from 425 bypass out to encompass and past the community college. Senator Ridley, that project right-of-way is clear. It is federally funded, so it doesn't have the same state woes, thank goodness. And we expect to let that late this year, late 2016. It'll be a 5-lane project. Years ago when we reconstructed 60, we had bike lanes and sidewalks, so we'll continue with the shared use path on the south side of the road from 425 up to the college. That is incorporated into the design. Okay, Spotsville Bridge is important to a lot of people as well. That one did make it into the highway plan a few years ago. We are in phase 2. There's only 2 phases. When I say phase 2, I mean final design on the project. It is a federally funded project, so we'll be able, hopefully, to be able to continue moving that one. I don't have a letting date here, but we'll be moving on into right-of-way fairly soon. There will not be a whole lot of utilities on that project, so the utility time frame will be fairly short. The bridge is going to be built about 55 feet to the north towards the Ohio River. So it'll be under construction while traffic goes on the existing bridge. So there'll be no real impact to traffic while that's being replaced. And it'll be sufficiently wide. I don't have that here, but I'm thinking something around 35 feet wide. a good 14, 15 feet wider than the current bridge. So that will be much, much, much better. Speaking of GRADD, J10, that was a project that you had on your regional transportation. Number one, Jenna, where's Jenna? Number one at least twice, right? Number one regional, so for all of GRADD. So it finally made it on the plan, and I know it'd be great to get that one built. Judge Snyder, I-69, didn't make it, as he already knows, I know. Into the plan, it did show some commitment from the governor. I think it's gotten people's attention, and it's a good thing for the I-69 group of people, which is nearly everybody. So what I'm looking at here is NH funding in 17, 18, and 19. When you would hope to get design in the plan, he got design right away and utilities in the plan. We'll see how that's laid out, but when the 6-year plan comes out, hopefully there'll be a plan to start moving on some of that to get us I-69 over the river. McClearn County, Judge Thurman, we talked about this one a few times. This is the intersection project with the cemetery in 56 and 1233. A consultant has that. It's in the second phase of design. It is state funded, so we'll move it as quickly as we can. It just doesn't appear to be not much happening other than finishing the design for a good little while. Ohio County, widen, construct Kentucky 69 from Centertown to Hartford. 69 from Centertown to Hartford is about 5.7 miles. It made it in the plan in 2014. We've been calling it a future project, but John, the future is here. 2016, but it is federally funded, so John will be, if he's given the green light from Frankfurt, it does help that it's federally funded. We'll be moving on that project. Hopefully be able to, once we get it started, move right on through to construction. I am told that the federal funding is slightly over Program 2, so there's no guarantee that if it's federal that it'll continue to move, but for the most part, yes, they will continue to move. That is improvements for 5.7 miles. You could call it a Super 2 or something in that range. We may not have enough money. A Super 2 is going to cost you about $4 million a mile. This has got about a little over $3 million a mile, but it'll be a vastly safer road when the highway department is through with it. Constructed connector road into Bluegrass Crossings. We've been working on that. That is a vast improvement to be able to go into that industrial area and not have children at play signs on the road. That's the whole premise of the design, the whole reason for it, right, Kim? And so we're working on that, and we've had numerous meetings over there. We're trying to pull in some form of access control so you don't get too many more entrances on it to defeat the whole purpose of the project. That is a state-funded project. We're moving on the second phase, the final phase of design on that project. This one, Judge Thurman and Judge Johnson, this is 136. Replace, improve alignment and approaches and address safety issues with bridges on Kentucky 136 from 0 mile point to 22 in McClearn and from 0 to 9.6 in Ohio County. It is state funded, but we do have a solid design firm on that project. There's more needs than money, but we'll be able to make vast improvements on that roadway. That is an excellent project for safety in rural areas. As you would say, the buses have to slow down and let one cross on so many of those bridges. John won't be able to get to every bridge, so a subsequent project may be needed to get the rest of them, but it will be vastly improved when that project is complete. And that's a lot of miles. That's a great improvement. Fordsville doesn't see a lot on the highway plan, but they've got one this time. Some of our legislators in this room are responsible, so thank you for that. But improve safety on 54 by upgrading mile point 7 to 8 in Fordsville. 3 lanes, including curb and gutter, addressing 2 sharp turns just to the east or the north side of town. It'll be a great project for Fordsville. Again, state funded, it is a future project. As funds allow, John will be moving that into design when he can. Union County, we had been working on 56 from Morganfield to the Shawneetown Bridge area. That project was rushed through design, was rushed into right-of-way. We rushed through right-of-way. Currently, the highway plan does not show real funding for construction, so it has hit the skids. Kentucky 56, I don't know what the future holds on that, but once we get direction from the highway plan or from the administration to move it, we will. Currently, that's not the case. So that project is a long way towards getting implemented, but it's going to take a pause for the moment. This project, of course, we've had Morganfield to Henderson for a number of years on the plan, and it's languished for several different reasons. But there's one issue that is just paramount, and it floods. And so we have a project on the plan for alleviate flooding between 23.8 and 25.2, which would be the area that floods. Again, it may not happen in 1 year, and the next year it will happen 3 times. So it's an average of over 1 time a year. So the goal with this project, talked to Representative Miles numerous times about it as she fought for this one and others. $2 million SPP funds in 2020. Again, state funded. It will be moved when it can, but at least it's here and ready to move. And gosh, if we can get that out, our crews in Union County will be so thankful. Of course, the drivers will be even more thankful. So that's a great project too. Webster County, the 120 there at Slaughters, has got a project that was in a previous plan. It is in design now. We're working on it. It is state funded. With that, if you have, that was all I was going to hit. I was just trying to get around the area with some of the bigger projects. If you have any questions, John is here. I'm here. Please feel free to ask us any questions you have on any of the projects. The other thing I would say is I've enjoyed working with you all and then the 350 employees that work with District 2. And they do a great job of getting out and clearing the roads and keeping them safe so that we can cut our accidents down. We have the most roadway mileage in District 2, which is 3,300 miles, but we average about 8th most in fatalities in District 2. So I try to brag about that to our crews so that they can feel good about being a public servant, about what they do and about the difference that they make. Fatalities are arbitrary many times, and there's nothing that we can do to design them out, but we can take a little bit of pride in the fact that we're 8th when we have the most number of miles. We have the most number of 4-lane highways mileage than any other district. This year, we're not 8th, we're about 3rd. So we've had more fatalities this year, for whatever reason, than other years. But thanks to Jenna and also PAD, Safety Committee, Jatine for your work on that. And hopefully, we'll keep progressing towards 0 fatalities on our roadways. One thing that I keep letting my bosses know in Frankfurt is that when you come out and we get a HEO1 job for us, HEO1 is a Highway Equipment Operator 1, high school diploma. We pay you $10.20 an hour, not quite enough. So we constantly have a revolving door on our HEO1 ranks in the districts. So they'll come in, and then when a better job presents itself, which is quite often, we lose them. So we're trying to do the best we can, but we're constantly hiring. Last year, we hired about 55 people in District 2, and we lost about 55 people in District 2. So we were just unable to make up ground. This year, we're experiencing a freeze, so we'll dip below because we can't catch up on a year when we can hire 12 months. You take a couple months of hiring out, we'll lose ground. So I'm hopeful that our legislators can be aware of that fact And our management team in Frankfurt can be aware of that fact and continue to fight for a little bit of bump in our HEO series, for one thing, so that we can get and keep and attract some good quality workers to help us. And when you boil it down, what we're trying to do is keep fatalities down and keep our transportation system the best that it can be. But my goal today, J10, was just to go over those projects and say a few words like that. So please catch us if you've got something. I will be largely in the area with another employment, so I hope to see you around. It's been a pleasure, and I will miss you, but it's not bad, it's good. So with that, thank you.